Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 15th of October. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
Gary, the number 10.
Number 10 is significant, Philip, because that would have to be the number of...
auction weekends left in 2019.
The year's
Before
coming
it
to a
becomes
close.
2020.
What a spectacularly bizarre year it's been.
It has
because
been. It's been a tale of many stories.
Yeah, it's been a lot of moods, hasn't there? The start of this year was sort of gloomy and dark, and there were storms and clouds were following agents around everywhere, weren't they, in the market? And now all of a sudden, Philip, we saw a little bit of sun just coming through the clouds, and now it's a beautiful sunny day, if I can use that as an analogy.
That's very nice, Gary, for you to do a little bit of a weather report. But
there's more to it than
one
that.
of the things
you've lost the depth of the story.
If you think about how quickly 2019 went, think about this. You realise there was a federal election this year, and the first 3-4 months of this year were dominated by just politics every single moment, and yet that now seems so long ago.
And it was annoying, Philip, because it took all of the racing out of the paper and all of the real estate out of them. And I don't like it when politicians get in the way of what I really want.
Your hobby, and interests.
Of racing and real estate.
Although some are starting to say, is racing really your hobby or your full-time job?
No, I don't think anybody's saying that. It's just you've thrown that up as a question.
Tell me, out of all of the real estate agents you know, do you think you would be the number one owner of racehorses?
I'd be the number one loser, probably, but I'm not the number one owner. No, there are actually other agents that have got more horses. And actually,
what is it about real estate agents and horses?
Our horse ran in a race recently, and there were 2 other horses in the same race, also with real estate owners from the field.
Right?
There you go.
Right? And did your horse beat those?
Did. Yeah, I felt very.
So it had nothing to do with the prize money or the photo.
No, it just brought out the competitive, of me. Yeah. Anyway, Philip, talking about horses and races and animals, do you think that whole last week's episode with you being drenching sheep, I think it's put a lot of images in people's mind about you. In a pair of shorts or jeans with your hand.
No, there's no jeans.
Where do you put the shit?
First of all,
put your hands
no
inside.
No one wears t-shirts and shorts when they work on a farm.
Oh, right.
It's all hard yakka clothing. Yakka clothing.
That's where it came from, isn't it? So do you think people's image of you...
And R.M. Williams riding boots.
Yeah, okay, so you with your riding boots and your yakka, do you think that has damaged your image as being a... He's been named as the most coiffured agent in Australia. But do you think that's probably ruined your image?
I've had a lot of viewer feedback going...
enigmatic, isn't it?
It just makes me...
all the more enigmatic.
Well, they didn't say enigmatic. They actually said they just
weird.
They realise that there are so many parts to me that they just found me more and more interesting as a result of last week's episode.
And you're going to leave it with that, shall we?
Well, I think no more needs to be said. Gary, across the weekend, shout out to our incredible sales team and Stephen, and of course our systems and processes, because our systems and processes led by our sales team got us a 90% clearance rate on the weekend.
Gets an industry average of
74%.
Put up the towers, Phil. Let's have a look at them.
Smash them again.
Things are running away now, over reserve. People are saying, you're underquoting. Talking about the industry, not about us.
Yep.
You got any comment about that?
Well, the underquoting raised its head again this week, Gary, when there was a agent out in somewhere in the outer suburbs. I'm not exactly sure where it is. Something along the Maroondah Highway. Okay. Which
Ringwood,
the Ringwood area.
Some good golf courses out that way.
An agent got fined $900,000.
What, this week?
$900,000. Having said that, this is the media at large, where they talked about underquoting, $900,000 fine. 2015. This goes back to.
Oh right, okay. Right? Yeah, I thought that was right.
2015, 2016.
Okay.
But viewers, probably timely moment to say what is an underquote. So viewers, quick little lesson. If we come to see you and sign up your property and we say to you on the auction authority, we're going to give you an opinion of value that's no greater than 10% apart. So as an example, $1 million to 1.1. Yep. Now, when we go to the market on the assumption that we use that figure or more, because viewers, when we say whatever the number is on the auction authority, we cannot quote less, but we can quote more, because there are some vendors that that say, look, Philip,
This is
that's
a long
fine.
story. You're losing half
You've
of the
said
viewers.
1 to 1.1,
Yeah.
but I actually want 1.2, so we
Yeah.
may elect to run that quote range as 1.1 to 1.2.
Presuming the vendor would be
Correct,
movable off
correct,
1.2 and will consider between
correct,
1.1 and 1.2,
correct,
Philip.
Gary.
Yes.
So what we hope to do, viewers, is to have our vendors always agreeable to meeting and considering
At the
selling
auction in the
within
range. Correct. And our job, Philip, if I'm not mistaken, is to get a premium for our selling clients.
Well, it is.
And if we do that, Philip, I don't think we should feel ashamed to get a figure that is well above the quoting range or the reserve price, because that's what auctions are meant to do. And I don't believe that's underquoting, but some people will say
smaller
it's
sale
underquoting.
basis, we had an auction in Mercell Street.
Yeah, we did.
Kilda
Yeah,
on
the Age
weekend,
came and covered it.
With, I believe, the quote range there was 810 to 890.
It was, Phil.
We had a good campaign there.
Yes.
The
Reserve was in the range,
property
yeah.
went on the market towards the top end of the range,
Yep.
and it sold for $971,000. Now, the uneducated
Five
buyer,
bidders
the
there, Phil.
uneducated buyer might go, oh, lo and behold,
five
isn't
bidders.
that underquoting?
Yes.
No, that's the market forces at play.
So it's overselling, not underquoting,
Yes,
and
Gary.
we're allowed to do
Remember,
that.
viewers,
Philip.
our job is to get you the very best price.
Exactly right.
If, of course, you don't want the best price, give me a call and I'll give you the name of 3 or 4 agents that you can ring that will not get you the best price.
Now you're just being bitchy again, aren't you? He likes to be bitchy. Every now and then, he's a gentleman, every now and then he gets the snails and he starts scratching in that
catty and
bitchy
bitchy
little way,
side
yeah.
that
And I've got to
comes
say, I don't mind that side of you. What does that make me? I've got to say, Phil, that...
Catty and bitchy admirer.
Exactly right, could well be. But
you're a cabber.
A cabber, catter and bitchy admirer.
Yeah.
But Phil, it's funny how there was no talk of underquoting when prices went
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
There was no talk about that.
Yeah,
All the underquoting
none
people
of, none of
ran
the
away.
general public came out and said, look, this is terrible.
Yeah,
Vendors are getting less than
yeah,
what they hoped
selling for less than
We
what-
need to start an industry-wide fund to help the vendors
that are
out
getting
with
less.
money they've got
exactly
less.
right.
No
Anyway.
buyers. You didn't do that, did you?
Indeed, Philip. Look, if you're a buyer, you've got to expect that things will get sold in or above the range. That's the nature of auctions, and good agents are always trying to get the best price for their sellers.
Having said that, just to put a cap on this, Gary, just to
Gone on for
bring
too
this
long.
conversation to a finality, I think
Getting
the
boring.
general move by the Consumer Affairs,
that was a good
who
move.
did bring in this quote range on the authority,
in May
shout
2017.
out to whoever thought of that, because I think on balance...
It is a good range.
On
It is a good thing.
balance,
A good
I think
idea, I
it's
should say.
improved the understanding of the general public and agents and vendors.
Well done, Consumer Affairs.
Yep.
The range is good, but properties will often go beyond. Sometimes they'll
Not
go
often
below.
We'll give a shout out to a government department saying you've done the right thing, but Consumer Affairs, I think in this
exactly
case,
right.
you actually nailed it.
Yeah, well
So
done.
I wonder who that person was that had that stroke of genius.
let's see if we can meet them, get them on the show, Phil. Think they'd want to be
So,
associated with us?
So if the Minister for Consumer Affairs is watching this,
they
if
would
you'd
be.
like to come on the
They
show.
always watch it.
Well, I mean,
All the
if
top
you want to
parliamentarians
tap-
do,
If you want to tap into the Zeitgeist, Gary, of what's going on.
Zeitgeist, Phil.
I know.
Wow.
We've never mentioned the word Zeitgeist on this show.
What is, and
Don't
describe
ask me to actually explain
so you don't
but
know what it is. It's just a
if-
big
if
word.
the man-
Sounds good.
If the man or woman who is the head of Consumer Affairs wants to tap into the popular Zeitgeist, you would come on this show.
Yeah, I think it's a high time they did. Philip, we can talk about some of our auctions because we've babbled on for too long, but we did have a terrific auction in Oakley Road, Carnegie, Philip. The price is not undisclosed, I'm happy to say, sold for, and now I squint, $670,000.
Yes, great result.
Philip, and there were eight bidders, count them, 8.
That is phenomenal.
That's pretty spectacular. It's all happening in Carnegie.
Viewers, if you really want to get an understanding of the depth of market, we talk about number of bidders per auction. This year, it's just blown all of last year's statistics away. Like a hurricane or a Japanese typhoon hitting cobwebs, Gary, just cleans it straight out.
Hitting cobwebs?
A shout out to the
Hitting
people.
cobwebs?
A shout out to
Why
the
would a
people.
typhoon hit a cobweb?
Shout
Is
out
that like an analogy?
Shout out to the people
Never
in
heard that.
Japan
Yeah.
who have just been hit by the most amazing typhoon.
Thankfully,
a lot of people have been displaced, Gary.
Exactly.
It's
very sad.
It's not amusing.
It's not.
And a bit of a shout out.
But hopefully they can tune into GPTV for some light relief, and hopefully they can see the Japanese subtitles underneath us right now, Philip.
Speaking of Japanese subtitles,
can't get through the agenda here.
Viewers, we are going to bring this show out through podcast on Spotify. So stay tuned. For those of you, we've had some feedback that they actually like the banter, but they often don't don't have the time to just sit there watching.
I think
so
that's,
we've had
you
some
know what, I think
shout
that's
out.
a very good idea. What's a podcast?
We've had some shout out.
What's a podcast?
We've had some shout out from consumers that they'd love to be able to go for a walk and listen to the Gary Peer and Associates.
And I'm going to find out
GPTV podcast.
And I'm going to find out about what a podcast is and what Spotify is. Going to come back to both of you, to you and to the cameraman here. Phil, Coorigga Road. Hey, we were in Coorigga Road, another place with just lazy 7 bidders. You know, nothing really much happening there. Sold for $453,000. Now it's interesting, isn't it, Phil, when you can find a small apartment like that in that price range, looking at sort of mid to high threes. And David Thompson's up there strutting his stuff, doing a wonderful auction. It's good to have David Thompson on board as auctioneer.
Talk in last week's episode.
And he watched it and he loved it.
We
was happy to hear.
Last week's GPTV where we talked about that apartment saying has a courtyard garden and could well go at a much higher price level. So viewers, if you can get an apartment with a courtyard garden, they are always strongly sought after.
I love what's going on in Carnegie and Huntley. I don't know whether it was just luck or vision, because we thought, you know, this is going to be an area that's going to take off.
Yeah. So we opened
an office there.
The question
well
is,
done to Leon.
was it luck or vision? Well, every viewer is sitting there chuckling now going, well, it can only be luck.
Well, you know, how about this, Phil? I think that the market...
How do we work, Gary the Lucky?
No, I've got a new bombastic, ridiculous statement. How about the Carnegie market took off when we opened an office there as a result of us moving to the area? Do you like that?
So it was no luck, it was vision.
It was vision. But we made Carnegie, Phil. How about that? Do you like that as a bold statement? How ridiculous is that?
Here is an amazing piece of trivia, viewers. Remember the Sky Rail, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
So remember the Sky Rail,
big
the
fuss.
vehement opposition.
Everybody was so upset about
the shattering of the
screaming.
local resident status quo.
People were marching in the street with their shovels and guns. And
not only has the
brooms.
Sky Rail been a tremendous success, not only have all of the local people that are around the Sky Rail gone,
they love it.
Hallelujah, this is great. But the Sky Rail has been nominated for a national landscaping design award.
Is that right?
Because of all of the land that it freed up as a result of
so
putting
people are
the
celebrating the Sky Rail. It's you know what it's like? It's like one of those movies you see where there's a villain, right? And then you go back into the backstory of the villain and you find out that the villain actually had a very sad story, became a bit twisted, but then became a really good guy, and then was the person that everybody loved, and then he died. It's like that, isn't it? That's the Sky Rail.
Sure about
Same
that,
sort of thing.
Here's another shout
Everybody
out
loved
to
the villain at the end.
Here's a shout out to the government ministers
that
are currently watching GPTV. Right?
I don't. Leave the government alone, Philip.
There was a report done by Macquarie Bank, I believe, about 10 years ago. And what they did was that they looked at all of the suburban railway lines and they looked at the land that the suburban railway lines sit on and they measured all of that land and then applied a dollars per square metre.
Get to the point.
And they worked out that if they put all of the railway lines that in metropolitan Melbourne underground and either sold the land off or returned it to public parks, it would just about pay for itself. Can you imagine if all of the railway lines that you know in the areas that you travel around were put underground and all of that land would just became public parks, how much better Melbourne would be.
So why has it been done?
Well, you know, lack of vision. Dan Andrews, if you're watching this show, well, we know you watch the show occasionally. If you're watching this episode, put all the railway lines underground and return that land to the people.
So that was a really good story, but it had a really bad ending. Shall we move on, Phil? Because we can't.
Shout out to Macquarie Bank.
Yeah,
Share price doing very well, $131.
Is that right?
They peaked out a couple of weeks ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Philip, I'd like to keep talking, but we've got someone waiting for us. Jeremy Rosens is waiting. He's waiting in a fantastic house, one of the best streets in North Caulfield.
Just keep
if
talking,
not Melbourne.
He's just going to be standing there huffing and puffing.
I know, he would does that. He's had enough.
The throw?
Yeah. Over to Jeremy Rosens, who's at Palm Avenue, Caulfield North. What a great address. Take us through this property, Jeremy.
Yes, great to be live back again on the show. I'm at a house, guys, that is as good as you've ever seen. This has got to be the best home to hit the market in 2019. I'm at 15 Palm Avenue in North Caulfield, architecturally designed, perfectly located, blue chip as it gets, and a house that is superb. This back room is epic. This is architecture at its finest. So send your buyers, come on down. If you're interested in architecture, you've got to see this house. And if you're in the market for a beautiful family home, you absolutely have to be here because it's as good as it gets. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. And Palm Avenue, just around the corner from our office, is
Yep.
one of the most prestigious
Which
streets
office,
of the
Phil?
area.
Got to be specific.
Our Caulfield
Yeah.
Orong Road office,
Yeah,
the
not our-
original.
yeah.
The original.
The original, I don't know if it's the best
No,
anymore.
no,
Used to say
it's
the
not the
original the
best
best, I
anymore,
don't
it's
know.
the original.
All the other offices are doing real well, Phil.
Real well
and
over
Carnegie's
there.
doing real well. You're right, real well. Don't question
So
it.
Palm
Real
Avenue,
well.
great address. Come and have a look at that house.
okay.
The most amazing house and very environmentally friendly.
We've got some auctions to talk about, Philip. We've got one. We're not waiting till the weekend. We've got one on Thursday.
Thursday.
But Wednesday, Philip,
Wednesday?
at the Caulfield Racecourse,
Yes.
Order of Command has its second run, Phil. I'm very excited about it.
Are you tipping that for the viewers?
I'm tipping it each way, Philip. I don't know if
Right.
it's going to win, but I think it's a good place bet, Phil. Order of Command tomorrow at Caulfield.
Yep.
Get your roller skates on, get on there.
You going?
In the Village Stakes. I might go and just see if I can see it late in the afternoon, Philip. But I don't
Yep.
like frequenting racetracks during business
No,
hours,
it
Phil.
is not a good look when our
No,
clients see
definitely
you
not.
at the races.
Yeah, sweating and
particularly
yeah,
when you're running
screaming,
and there's a
abusive.
bookie chasing
Yeah,
you.
that's never been good for my image, really, has it, Phil? But it's one of the reasons why I take runners out there every
Tell
time
me,
I go.
do you take an electric prong and
Probably, yeah.
visit the stables before the race?
I did. Darren Weir was mining them for me for a while, and I don't think it worked out well for him. Anyway,
You ask,
yeah.
how bad luck is that? You ask a mate to
know.
look after your electric
I know.
plotter and he takes the
And he
rap.
hasn't put my name in either. I really appreciate that, Daz. He's always been a lovely
Dazza?
guy. He knows how to keep his mouth shut. Phil, let's move through the auctions of the week, Philip, because we've got a fantastic block of flats in
have.
Hilton Road going up on Thursday.
Gary, I love
Get
this-
organised. Tell us about
I
it.
love this block.
So do I.
It's built probably in the 50s or 60s.
Yep.
And it was built so well that it looks just fantastic
It does.
today. We've got 10 apartments, and one of the apartments is a 4-bedroom apartment on the ground
Gotta
floor,
love
which
that.
is highly unusual. Every single apartment in that building, whether it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, or that 4-bedroom, they are all oversized.
It's a trophy property, Phil,
It
an
is,
investment
Gary.
for life,
It is,
and
Gary.
come along and
we
see
think
us.
that will sell somewhere in excess of $4.5 million,
It should-
Gary.
it should do so, Phil.
Beautiful. We call that generational real estate. If you're watching this and you've got some children or some grandchildren and
Yep.
you want to buy something amazing,
Yeah.
that everybody in future can look back and go, gee,
Wasn't
grandpa
clever?
or grandma the
Weren't they
most
clever?
They
Astute.
had foresight.
They were brilliant.
Come along.
They were
And
brilliant.
Of course, if you're not a grandparent, come along and
Exactly.
buy it
Look, they
anyway.
bought that block of flats. Now we never have to work again. We can just sit around all day watching telly, watching
right.
Netflix, and eating chips. And what a
Yeah.
great life we've got.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's probably not the reason
Okay,
to buy it.
moving on to the
Hey,
weekend.
It's,
How many have we got for the
we're in
weekend?
now, late October. Phil. This is the height of spring.
Yeah.
You'd expect us to have sort of 25, 30 auctions, wouldn't you? We've got 4 on Saturday, Philip. But anyway, we've got double auction action at 10:30 a.m. You can sleep in because we don't need you till a bit later. But
Good.
we're going to be at Leslie Street, St Kilda, Philip. And what a fantastic
great
home this
address.
one is.
Nikki Jano,
It
Mortimer
is
Street
the
have
most
been handling that.
beautiful looking period home, Philip. Very excited. It's got a lot of potential and it's very affordable, Philip. Any
Yep.
house today that's sort of 7, 8, even 900,000 has got to be a snap purchase, Philip, because $1 million will be entry price in no
A lot
time.
of potential and affordable. That reminds me of your Tinder profile, Gary.
I never went on Tinder, Philip, because they didn't have Tinder around those days. You had to go. There was
Well,
dating. It was
if
old-fashioned.
there
You had to go and
if
say
you
to the
were
father,
on Tinder,
"Could I
you'd
take
be
out your daughter?" And-
affordable with potential.
exactly. Well, maybe I would have been. I don't know, Philip. I'll never find
Just
out.
a blank page.
Exactly
'cause
right.
You wouldn't put your face, but just ring this number for affordable.
What's
with
your
potential.
obsession about Tinder? I'm worried about you.
I think that the modern generation's extraordinary.
And you're trying to connect with them, is that
No,
right?
I'm not. Well,
You think you're a
maybe
young
I am.
vagabond that's in touch with the younger.
Vagabond,
Was in
but
touch with the
this
young
is-
people.
You are seriously. I'm going to have to get myself a new anchor because you're like this old man.
Hey Phil, Mortimer Street, Bentley.
Yes.
I am going to be doing that auction.
You are.
And look at that. What a good-looking property,
What a
Philip.
beautiful
And
property.
again, something under $1 million. I'm looking forward to meeting Jan Dosen.
Jan Dosen and John are going to be there, and what a great property that is. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, polished timber floorboards, and we love those 50s homes.
And Jan
50s,
Dosen, one of the
60s
few real estate agents in the world that
Yes.
can speak English, Mandarin, and German.
Yes, not
And I always love
not many Mandarin speakers.
No,
speak
can say
German
Ni
as well.
Hao, and then they can say
Sprechen Sie.
Sprechen Sie Deutschen, and then they can say, see you mate. Philip, at 11:30, your first of 2 auctions is going to be happening, and you're going to be hovering around in my area of Bentley East, because I say my area, it's all of our area, but I'm going to be just up the road.
Well, what a great post-war property this is, Gary.
Post-war?
613 square metres of
Who
wonderful
describes,
land.
and you reckon I'm off that, who describes properties as post-war?
Well,
oh, it's a post-war as opposed to a pre-war. Well, and that makes you a very
Gary,
modern person.
Gary,
Yeah.
It's quite well known that the war of the Great Second World War inspired architecture of the late 40s and early 50s. It was called the post-modernist age.
You're just covering up now, trying to sound clever for something that you said that was ridiculous. Sorry, but tell us through the property anyway.
Well,
Go
Gary,
on.
really good property. As
Yep.
you can see up on screen, viewers, 4 bedrooms or even more, 2 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking, and you get both things there that we all look for, which is a good home, but plenty of land.
Phil, that's one of only 2 of your auctions. You're going to be finishing early because you've got a 12:30 auction in Spring Road, Caulfield South. Now, how's that for a great address?
One of the 2 most amazing streets of that area.
You've got the reserve through the middle of Phil.
So you've got the Marara Road and Carawina Reserve.
There you do.
And then you've got the Spring Road Reserve.
Yeah.
These are 2 very, very beautiful addresses.
They are.
But Spring Road goes to the market. I'm looking forward to doing
Looks
that
like a
auction.
beautiful
Meeting Leon Goosenfitter there, who's
Clinker
been
brick,
handling the property.
Clinker brick period home. Philip, very excited about that one. On Sunday, you are going to be a little bit busier. Only a few auctions, only 3 auctions.
3 auctions is nothing.
Not much,
I'm
is
just
it?
slipping out of first gear.
You would be, Philip.
3.
You're going to be starting off in Balaclava Road, a terrific looking property, Philip.
It is just
By the park.
throughout. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 lock-up garage, and it's by the park. And we love Caulfield Park.
We sure do, Philip. At 12:30, Jeremy Rosen's auctions for Mark Kirkham, this beautiful looking period home in Flower Street, Caulfield South.
What a great address Flower Street is, because you've got Princess Park on your doorstep. You've also got the wonderful Cafe Fress and Delish walking distance. And round the corner, of course, we've got the one on Boran Road, corner Carawina Road.
Brightside,
Mr. Brightside.
I got it.
Shout out to the owners of Mr. Brightside, who are clients of our company.
They are indeed, Philip. At 12:30, you're going to be McLean Avenue.
Yes.
Are you on McLean's showing?
They will be there,
Yep.
Gary. What a great address that is. You've got all of the virtues of Centre Road on your doorstep.
And 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
It's north-facing, Gary, which
We
is
love that.
highly unusual to get a north-facing parcel of land together with a really good,
You've been
beautiful,
quite involved in
livable
that
home.
property, haven't
I
you?
have. I
Yeah.
have. Looking forward to doing that auction. It really is a beautiful home.
And Phil, at 1:30, you bring down the curtain at the most spectacular address. We're talking about this incredible house,
Well,
this
shout
piece of art.
Shout out to the design team there.
At
We've got
2 Merton Street,
We've got Robert
Caulfield
Richmond
North.
is the builder.
Yep.
We've got Danny Milakovsky, who is the
Yes.
landscape
Yeah.
architect.
And Rebecca
then
Schneider.
we've got Rebecca Schneider, who's done all the interiors.
She has.
And those 3 have worked together many times before, Gary.
They're a great
They
team.
just get better and better, although you'd find it hard at their level for it possible to them get better.
They
but
are,
they seem to.
They are a
seem to.
potent and deadly combination. When I say
potent and
deadly,
deadly
I mean in terms of
No, I don't think you'd ever use
okay.
the word potent and deadly to describe our clients. Like,
okay.
that's just-
Well, potent's good. You can say a potent combination,
potent
an
combination.
explosion of style, fashion,
Yes.
and magnificence.
Yes.
How's that?
And deadly would have no
Deadly.
place in that
Deadly.
conversation. Yeah.
That's a big wrap on GPTV for this mid-October edition, Philip. Now, if you want to sell this year, you're right, you haven't got much time. But we're
10
already...
auction weekends left.
Hey, but
Gary.
we're busy already signing up for next year.
February,
Phil. So-
March, April.
How
not
come you're
too-
wearing a
not-
tie today?
not
I'm
too
not.
I just thought I'd just
Last time I did it.
shake it up a bit,
Yeah.
Gary.
We're shaking it up, and the market's being shaken up in this busy spring where the market is showing great clearances, some great results, lots of competition, lots of bidders, and we're loving it and reporting it to you on GPTV. I'm Gary Peer.
Well, I'm Philip Kingston, somewhat amused by your closing dialogue.
Bye for now. See you next week.